Wall Street is in the spotlight this morning after that dramatic drop in the markets on Friday. And this comes as we're seeing new signs of worry among consumers and businesses about the economy. We've got NBC senior business correspondent Christine Romans here. So Friday was a bit of a shocker. Yeah. And there are kind of, you call it a vibe shift in the economy.
Yeah, look, there's a feeling that, the last 2 years of gangbusters economic growth and stock market soaring, maybe there's some uncertainty in the economy right now. And that uncertainty, as you know, is the enemy of the stock market. So Thursday and Friday were a couple of down days. Friday was the worst day of the year for stocks. There was a consumer sentiment number that was really disappointing. And what people were saying, consumers were saying, they're worried about inflation still, and they're worried that tariffs will add to inflation. Also worries about maybe job cuts. You're hearing, especially in your local market, you're hearing every day about job cuts in the government, and those are most federal government jobs are not in Washington. They are out in the country. So they're just these little things that are starting to pile up a little bit that rattled the market on Friday. I think it's going to bounce back a little bit today.
I'm glad you made that point by the way, about federal workers.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of folks just assume that they work in the DMV area, but that's an important note. Let's talk about housing for a moment here, because that seems to be a significant part of the problem here. You've got folks out there looking to buy houses, low supply, mortgage rates are high, the lack of affordable housing. There's been a lot of reporting on that. What does all of that mean for the average consumer?
Well, we had really thought that the housing market was going to be getting better by the beginning of 2025, and it just isn't. It's frozen solid. There was an existing home sales number last week. Existing home sales fell almost 5% in January. Oh. I mean, that's a really frozen solid housing market. And mortgage rates, they're below 7%, so that's good news, but they're not the 5% that many people would want. We think the Fed is probably going to sit here and not lower rates again anytime soon.
Inflation is sort of ticking back up or looking worrisome again, so then they don't cut the rates, and that's all related.
It is, and there are worries that if there are more tariffs could actually add to inflation, which means the Fed would have to sit on its hands. So those mortgage rates are high. A lot of these rates are still high. I think what's interesting also about tariffs is this is the last week of that pause on the Mexico and Canada tariffs. Right. So the president said that he was going to make a decision. That decision date is March 4th.
By the way, Walmart even said, look, we're not immune to tariffs and having to raise prices, so that's a big deal.
And it had a rare profit warning saying we're not going to make as much money as we thought because of what's happening in the economy now.
This morning.
They're looking up, so we'll see if the 2 down days, we'll see if they bounce back a little bit this morning.
Thank you, Christine.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.